What is up, guys? Welcome back to my reaction channel. It's your boy Chris, bringing you with another SCP reaction video. Today we're gonna be reacting to SCP 2086, The Man-Eating Bus by Dr. Bob. Y'all know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button for post notifications. With that being said, let's get into the intro.
A young woman on her way home is walking down a city street, and just like most nights, the downtown empties out after the working day ends, leaving the streets empty of both cars and pedestrians. She hates when she has to close the shop and walk to her bus stop alone, and she is excited that in just another week, she will be starting a new job that's just around the corner from where she lives. She just has to get through these last few nights of being the last one at the store and having to walk home alone. Her more immediate concern now, though, is that her music has stopped. The young woman takes her phone out to check it. Dead. She must have forgotten to plug in the charger. She hates when she does that. Now she'd have to spend the bus ride staring out the window at nothing.
Hates everything, bro. That's just
The woman looks up from her phone. Did she see someone? She turns around and sees something on the other side of the street. It's dark, and all she can make out is a big, shadowy figure. She doesn't stare for long, though, and starts to walk again, picking up her pace slightly. She can hear the sound of footsteps and glances over her shoulder.
Y'all better run.
The person across the street is moving too, and they seem to be matching her pace, avoiding any streetlights to remain in darkness. She starts to move a little quicker, and so do they.
What the fuck?
The young woman grips the pepper spray in her pocket. She doesn't know what this person is doing or what they want, but she's going to be ready for them. She keeps walking and glances over her shoulder again. They're crossing the street towards her now. She ducks into an alley, and as soon as she's around the corner and out of sight, she starts to run. She sprints through the alley as fast as she can. She looks behind her,
Why do they always go to alleyways? Like, bro, that's the last thing you wanna do if you're getting chased by somebody, alright? Go to somewhere where a lot of people, alright? Or just knock on someone's door. Like, bro, that's just stupid if you go to alleyways, bro.
Frightened of what she might see, but no one is there. Maybe she was wrong and they weren't following her, but she's not about to stop running and find out. She emerges from the alley still running as hard as she can. She reaches her bus stop and finally stops to catch her breath. She checks her watch. The bus should be pulling up right now, but it's nowhere to be seen. She looks around, and what she does see is a shadowy figure coming out of the alley, and it's coming straight towards her. She backs up into the bus stop and takes the pepper spray out of her pocket, her finger ready on the trigger. The shadowy figure keeps moving towards her when suddenly, the dark street is lit up. The woman looks behind her to see her savior. It's the bus. She turns back to see the shadowy figure retreating to the alley, as if the light is pushing it away. The woman breathes a sigh of relief and finally lets some of the tension in her body release as the bus comes to a stop in front of her. The door swings open and the woman steps inside. "I've never been so happy to get on the bus," she says to the driver as she scans her transit card. The driver doesn't respond, though. In fact, he doesn't react to her at all. He just keeps staring straight ahead. The woman doesn't push it, though. She's just happy to be on the bus, even if it is completely empty. She heads to the back of the bus and takes a seat. As the bus pulls away, she can almost swear she could see the shadowy figure standing in the alley, watching her. The bus rumbles along the empty city streets as the woman looks out the window and takes deep breaths, trying to calm herself after her harrowing ordeal. After a while, she notices that the bus doesn't seem to be stopping as much as it normally does, or at all for that matter. Did they change the route? Or did she get on the wrong bus? They are approaching her stop, though, so it doesn't matter, and she reaches up to pull the cord. A bell chimes, and the stop requested light illuminates in the front of the bus. But the driver doesn't show any sign of stopping or even slowing down. She pulls the cord again, but still no reaction. As she sees her building go by, she calls out, "Hey, this is my stop." But the driver doesn't acknowledge her at all. She stands up and walks to the front. "Didn't you hear me? This is my stop." Still no reaction from the driver. "Hey, I said..." She reaches out and grabs his shoulder, spinning him towards her, only to find herself staring into the eyes of a fresh corpse. The woman screams and jumps back as the driver slumps forward towards her. She's terrified by the dead body, as well as the fact that the bus will crash. But when she looks at the steering wheel, she sees that it is continuing to move on its own. The woman is in a full-blown panic now. She screams and pounds on the door, but it won't open. The engine roars as the bus starts to pick up speed. She doesn't know what to do and runs to the back where she tries the rear door, but it doesn't budge either. The bus speeds up even more, whipping around corners and tossing her from side to side. She's thrown to the ground and hits her head. Her eyelids feel like they weigh 100 pounds, and she struggles to keep them open. She manages to stay awake, though, and as she looks up in a daze...
Boss. Yeah, that's shit crazy, bro. Like I say, imagine, like, running away from your stalker only to get into a bus that eats humans. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, just imagine how terrifying it is, though. Like, this shit crazy, bro, especially if it travels a lot.
Days, staring at the ceiling of the bus, she can see a green gas emanating from the vents. It's the last thing she sees before her eyes close for good. The bus finally comes to a stop in a deserted area of the city.
We have the headlights.
The vehicle raises slightly as, one after another, each wheel appears to unfold, revealing them to be long, black, spindly legs. The bus stands up on these insectoid appendages as its roof splits into two massive wings. The bus then leaps up into the sky, spreading its wings, and flies off into the night. How could this young woman have known that after escaping danger, that her rescuer would be something worse? Much worse.
That is disgusting.
Unfortunately for her, she had just willingly stepped onto an instance of SCP-2086, a deadly and terrifying anomaly that hides in plain sight as it stalks and hunts its human prey.
Look at this thing, oh.
SCP-2086 is the designation the SCP Foundation has given to a species that appears to belong to the arthropod phylum, a group that also includes arachnids and crustaceans. These strange creatures differ from most of their lobster and spider brethren, in that they make use of an advanced form of camouflage to move among modern society unseen. Adult SCP-2086 instances all resemble some sort of public transportation vehicle, with the exact make, model, year, and branding varying from instance to instance. SCP-2086 instances move about the streets of our cities foraging for food, and at first glance, they are virtually indistinguishable from the standard transit vehicles they are mimicking. Close examination of them, though, will reveal that the steel, wood, plastic, and glass they are composed of aren't those materials at all.
Pause. Now this one is dangerous. More dangerous than Smokey and the headlights, because this one actually like rolls in the streets where a lot of people, you know, waiting for a bus stop. So this one is actually dangerous, though. Shit. More dangerous than
which is the
Smokey,
substance that makes up the hard
opinion.
exoskeleton of many insects and other arthropods. And that's not the only aspect of SCP-2086 that isn't actually what it appears to be. The wheels on the bus may go round and round, but they also are capable of unraveling into long, thin legs that create a very imposing image when SCP-2086 is standing up at its full height. The roof, too, is able to unfurl into a set of giant insectoid wings, and after leaping into the air with its powerful legs, the wings will spread, and the bus can take flight, which appears to be its preferred method of travel when it is not in its camouflaged hunting mode. Its headlights, too, are an entirely biological mechanism, consisting of two large bioluminescent optical organs similar to those possessed by SCP-015-IT and SCP-745. Dissections of SCP-2086 specimens have shown them to have an entire system of organs, including a heart, brain, and stomach, which are found beneath the flooring in the creature's interior chamber. SCP-2086 appendages are not just used for locomotion, though, and they have been observed as being able to use them for fine object manipulation. This fact was learned when they were observed building crude shelters from scrap materials at their nesting grounds. More on these nests and the terrifying events that take place there
so you
later.
find out where they live.
When SCP-2086 is not at its nest, it engages in its foraging behavior. Typically, an SCP-2086 instance will fly to the start of a route and begin driving along city streets, picking up human passengers who willingly enter the creature's inner chamber, thinking that it is a standard bus. Along with its exoskeleton closely resembling a real vehicle, SCP-2086 has one more particularly gruesome trick to fool would-be passengers into becoming its prey. A bus that drives itself would lead many to think twice about stepping on board, so SCP-2086 makes use of a decoy driver, which is actually a human corpse encased and preserved in a shellac-like substance. Smaller, fibrous appendages protrude
Fucking
from the
crazy,
front
bro.
seat and into the corpse,
That's one
which
hell of
hold
a
it in
nightmare
place
right there.
and are even capable of manipulating the corpse, giving it the appearance of movement as it drives the bus. Once SCP-2086 has gathered up what it considers to be enough victims, a number that appears to vary from instance to instance, it will release a noxious
Pause.
gas from
Bro, what the hell come up with this idea though? Like shit, bro. Like, why you gotta make nightmare out of common things like a car, like a bus like this? Why you gotta do me like this? But like shit, that shit creepy as hell.
It will release a noxious gas from its interior vents. The gas produces an effect in humans similar to chloroform, and everyone on board will be rendered unconscious.
How does it
The creature, now
digest
filled
though?
with its
Like,
prey, does not feed on the humans trapped inside it, though. Instead, it will take them to its nesting grounds, which is where the
Okay.
real horror begins. These
What do you
nesting
mean?
grounds are most often localized in scrap and junkyards that have fallen into disuse or are completely abandoned. And it is in these nests that the juvenile instances of SCP-2086 are found. While a full-grown instance can weigh as much as 17,000 kilograms, which is the
Okay.
approximate curb weight of a normal bus, extensive field research and observation into SCP-2086 has led to the identification of the smaller, juvenile instances, which are much smaller than their adult counterparts, weighing under 200 kilograms. But they don't stay this size for long. When an adult SCP-2086 arrives back at the nest with its interior chamber filled with human prey, it will open its doors and allow the juvenile members to enter inside of it so they can feed and grow.
what do you mean feed, bro?
Once
What?
inside, a juvenile will remove a passenger from the bus and take them outside. The effects of the chloroform gas will often begin to wear off at this time, but by this point, it is already too late. The juvenile instance will then proceed to force the human into a hole located under their hood. This leads to a sort of
Yeah, bro,
digestive
what the
tract
fuck?
that connects to its inner chamber where the driver's seat is located. Small, hair-like appendages will then emerge from the seat and protrude into the prey's body, which hold them in place in the driver's seat and trap them there, while at the same time
Pause.
acting...
Yo guys, I'm pausing a lot in this one, but they are awfully descriptive on this one, on how it eats. So I'm just gonna assume that the agent that the SCP Foundation sent actually see that thing eating a human, you know? So why are you not doing anything about it though? Like, shouldn't you guys be exterminating it? Like, bro, what the fuck? You're endangering people.
time acting as feeding tubes, draining the blood from the now doomed passenger. Once the person has been completely drained of blood, the feeding tubes will begin secreting a saline solution as the internal compartment fills with a shellac-like substance. And the effects of both combine to effectively embalm and preserve the corpse, which will serve as
Disgusting,
its
bro.
own
You guys
decoy
need to
driver
burn
once
it.
it enters adulthood.
Burn
And this
those
process
motherfuckers.
happens quite quickly. A newborn
Look at
SCP-2086
that thing, bro.
will reach
It's-
adulthood in just 1 week, provided that it has had access to nutrients, at which point it will begin searching for new sources of prey for its own offspring, of which it will likely have plenty. 2086 instances become capable of reproduction at 8 days, and females are able to produce up to 20 offspring, but their
fucking hell,
lives
bro.
are quite short, with their entire life cycle usually lasting just 12 to 15 days.
Okay.
Prior to feeding and beginning the process of
So,
becoming a full-size
it's
adult,
easy to
juveniles will
exterminate
also
this.
leave the nest and will covertly move about the city, removing bus stop signposts and relocating them, often creating a route that leads back to its own nest. These are the routes that adult instances will then typically follow as they hunt for more prey to bring back to their colony.
Okay.
SCP-2086 instances have been found in metropolitan areas around the world, and news reports are closely monitored by the Foundation for missing persons that had recently used public transport, with Foundation field agents being dispatched to potential high-threat
Kill those
areas to
motherfuckers,
investigate
bro. Burn
further.
them alive.
Any
Damn.
nests that are discovered have their locations condemned, if they weren't already, and demolished using chemical explosives. Previously, an effort was made to capture and contain live instances of SCP-2086, and currently, the Foundation has 5 such specimens in its custody, which are stored in a converted airplane hangar. Due to their short lifespans and high rate of reproduction, the amount of live specimens contained at any given time can vary widely,
Okay.
and will often depend on the number of available D-Class personnel who can serve as drivers. Terminated specimens are
Yeah,
either
bro.
destroyed or sent to a specialized cold storage
Fucking
container
terminate
at a
those
secure
things, you know what I'm
site
saying?
for further biological
Squish
research.
it. Burn it alive.
SCP-2086 continues to be one of the most dangerous anomalies for common, everyday users of public transportation, and the SCP Foundation has classified it as Keter.
Okay.
While identified colonies are able to be destroyed with minimal effort once discovered, there is no telling how many nesting grounds still remain in the wild. So the next time you're about to board a bus, pay extra careful attention to it, or you may find that your bus is rerouting you somewhere you never wanted to go.
No need to remind me
Now go and watch the file on another case of automotive terror, SCP-745.
Guys, that is SCP 2086, The Man-Eating Bus by Dr. Bob. You don't know, this is the last thing you need to worry about when boarding a fucking bus, you know? They just gotta make it more creepier than it is. God damn it, bro. But hey, this thing actually a little bit creepy because it can happen, like in Smoking, it can happen in real life, but not in a monster way, but kidnapping, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. I don't understand though, why do they just let them eat the civilians? Why don't they just exterminate the thing, you know what I'm saying? They already collected many of its samples anyway, you don't need to just keep them alive. What are you doing, SCP? This is the reason why I'm a little bit favor in GOC, you know, in GOC. I'm a little bit in favor in GOC because they're exterminating SCP that is dangerous and actually harmful to humanity, you know, actively. And I also disagree with them because sometimes they're exterminating SCP that is not even harmful anyway, you know, they just like to kill SCP. So yeah, I got a mixed feelings about it. But hey, like the video guys, you know, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell button for post notifications. We are nearing 100 subs, you know, show me some love. Get me to 100 subs, you know. 100 subs, bro. Shit. Anyways, I'll see you guys soon.